Sadie, what are we making today?
Bacon, bacon.
Do you like bacon? Take that as a yes. It's time for bacon. Every fall, I take a couple bellies and I make homemade dry cured bacon out of them. And we use them when we ice fish out in the ice shack during the winter. And it's kind of become a tradition. It's fun to make, it's easy to make, and it's about as good as bacon as you'll ever find. It's a pretty simple process. So in my case, my vacuum packaging machine is only a certain size. So what I will do is I will cut each one of these bellies into 3 pieces. I'll put them in a vacuum bag, and then I'll put my cure and my flavors in it, and then we'll stick them in the refrigerator, and I will flip them every day for 16 days before I smoke them. Then I'll chill them overnight and slice them, and we'll have bacon. I use a Morton Tender Cure or Tender Quick Cure. The package says 1 tablespoon per pound of meat. I like to weigh it, so it's actually 12 grams per pound of meat. And then I also use an equal part of light brown sugar. So I'll have 12 grams of sugar and 12 grams of Tender Quick per pound of meat. So one of the bellies is going to be a maple flavored belly. I've done it for years and it's really good. We will use maple syrup that we make. So that goes in one belly with the cure. The next belly, I'm going to add 1/3 cup of honey and a shot of J. Henry Ambrosia bourbon. So you can see on the pork belly, you've got the lean side and you've got the fat side. I don't trim it at all. So I measured it. It was about 17.5 inches. So I'm going to cut as close to thirds as I can. When you buy bacon, you're kind of rolling the dice because you don't always get to see what's on the inside, but I'm telling you, that looks like that's going to make some pretty good bacon. All right, so the first one I weighed 4.174 pounds. So if I take 12 grams per pound, that gives me 50.088 grams of the Morton Quick Cure and the brown sugar. So I'm right around 50 grams. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the salt first. I'm going to kind of dump it in there. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to rub it around. And you don't have to get perfect coverage on it, because when we put this in the fridge and we start flipping it, it's going to build a liquid in the bag that's going to be our brine. And that is what's going to penetrate, and we will have a very nice cured belly when we're done. Put the brown sugar in there. And on the brown sugar, it's kind of lumpy. And again, it's not critical that it's a uniform coverage, because it will cover everything in the end. Now comes the honey. That is 1/3 cup of honey. And then my shot of J. Henry bourbon down the hatch. When you vacuum package something in a chamber machine, the entire bag has to be in the machine, or you have to cut slots for the vacuum to work properly. So I took my scissors and I cut a slot on each side so the opening is in the machine. I'm going to vacuum it for 40 seconds. All right, so you've got the bourbon in there and everything else. You can see it's already a little bit of a liquid. I'm going to put it in the fridge, lean side down like that. And tomorrow I'll flip it like that. And I think you get the picture. So, all right, so we're on our second batch, which is going to be the Tender Quick, the brown sugar, and 1/3 cup of maple syrup. So, or actually 1/2 cup of maple syrup. So on this particular piece, I've got 43 grams of Tender Quick and I've got 43 grams of the brown sugar. Oh, that syrup pours so much better than the honey does. All right, so I'm on day 5. You can see all the liquid that's been pulled out of the belly itself. I've just been flipping them like that. Today I flipped it over and we're on that side. So my goal was to cure these for 16 days. Today is day 17. My schedule didn't allow me to start working on them yesterday, but 17 will work just fine. You can see that over the last 17 days, the dry cure that I rubbed on, and in this case, the maple syrup that I put in here, has created quite a brine in there. You can see all that liquid. So every day for the last 17 days, you know, one day it's like this, the next day it's like this, and you can just, the longer it sits, the more liquid it draws out of the product. So I expect to have a really good cured color and an excellent flavor on both products. I'm going to take them out of the packages. I'm going to drain them, but I'm not going to rinse them. What I'll do now is I'll take this out. I'll run the comb through on the fat side like that, and then we'll hang them in the smokehouse. All right, so I drained the first batch and just take the comb and I push it on through the fat side. You want to make sure you get enough meat on there because I've tried to do them skinny and I've dropped them in the smokehouse as they cook. Just kind of push that on there like that, and then they will hang in the smoker like that. Man, that is some really awesome looking bacon there. Once I drain the bellies and I comb them and I stick them in the smokehouse, I'm also going to put my meter probes in there. So I'm going to want to follow the internal temperatures. All right, so we're ready to put the bacon in the smokehouse. And I guess the question is it ever too cold to smoke? I don't think so. My smoker's got 2 inches or an inch and a half of insulation. It'll handle the cold just fine, a lot better than I will. Got my meter probes I'm going to put in here. Kind of got a feel in there. You can get a feel for if you're in the center. You want to be as close as possible to the end or the center. All right, so we're loaded in. I've got everything shifted to the left to try to avoid the really hot heat that comes out of the opening down there. I'm going to smoke for 4 to 5 hours. I think I might have said previously 6 hours. Went back through my notes, and it's always been in that 4.5 to 5 hours. I'm going to target an internal of maybe 140, which is considerably higher than all retail bacon goes. They target around 128, and it's considered a ready to cook product, not a ready to eat product. At 140, I'm probably still not considered ready to eat, or probably considered a ready to cook product also. I just like the way it fries up for me. So that's why I'm going to do it. They don't do that in the industry because of yields. I don't care about my yields. I just want it to be good. So I'm trying a new charcoal again today. I'm going to keep searching until I find the one that I really like. So this is a charcoal briquette. You can see that it is pretty good size. And then for wood, as I stand right in the, so I'm using some little chunks of apple. Everybody likes apple wood smoked bacon. And then I'm not using a ton of charcoal in there because I don't want a lot of heat. All right, here we are. 4 hours was my cook time. I ran a little hotter than I wanted to. Kind of overloaded it with fuel to begin with and never really recovered. So anyway, final internals were 146 to 150, which I'm okay with that. I like the color. Looks really good. It's still dripping in there. So it's 26 degrees out. I'm going to let it cool down out here for a couple hours before I put it in some poly bags and put it in the refrigerator overnight. And then in the morning, I will put it in the freezer for a couple hours to let it firm up before I slice it. So here they are with the combs out. I'm just getting ready to put them in their poly bags and stick them in the refrigerator. I turned the middle piece over to show the fat side where they were combed, so you can really see how much smoke that they picked up. So these have been in the refrigerator overnight. So they got down to about 38 degrees internal. And then I put them in the freezer for 3 hours to develop a little bit of a crust on them so I can slice them easier. This is probably, it's thicker than retail, but maybe not as thick as a thick cut bacon in the store. My son came up earlier. Remember, I had the slicer turned this way, and he goes, "Dad, let me show you something." So he turned it this way, and I'm like, "Hey, that's a lot easier on my back." All right, so this is what one complete belly looks like, all sliced up. Look at the cured color on there. I mean, that's really solid. So this is the bourbon flavored bacon, and you can see it's got just a beautiful cured color on it as well. You can see it's starting to char already. Pull these 4 off. I did turn my heat down even more. So I've got it on medium low right now. I don't think this video needs any words. So this is the bourbon bacon. The aroma is very prevalent. You know that you're cooking the bourbon bacon. You gotta be real careful with your heat. There's a lot of sugar in here, the brown sugar, the honey, the bourbon. So what'll happen is if you hit it too hot and too fast, it'll char on you in an instant. So just kind of got to baby it. All right, let's see how this tastes. You can really pick out that bourbon flavor in it. I think the guys in the ice shack are gonna like this bacon. Did we make this bacon? Yay! Sadie, what are you eating?
Yummy bacon.
Yeah, is it good bacon?
After this bite, I want more.
Yeah, okay.
Yummy, yummy. I like your bacon.
Thumbs up or thumbs down? I need to know what everybody thinks of the bacon. That is way more than 2 thumbs up. Well, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed our video. I ended up with about 8 pounds of each, the bourbon and the maple, and about 1.3 pounds of ends and pieces. And I might have fried up a pound of each between yesterday and today and enjoyed it. So hope you liked our video. I hope it intrigued you enough to try this process yourself. It's pretty simple. It takes time. But man, is it some really good product. So got a couple takeaways for you. The first is don't stop smoking because it's winter. Use it all year long. The second is that if you decide to make this, because of the sugars from the maple syrup in the one belly and then the honey and the bourbon in the other belly, it burns pretty easy in the frying pan. So you really got to take it low and slow. And if you take your time when you fry it, it doesn't burn. But if it gets too hot on you, it burns quickly. So just keep that in the back of your mind if you decide to make some. And finally, have fun, enjoy the process, learn something new. If you enjoyed the video, leave us a comment, like the video, share the video, and subscribe to our channel. We've got more exciting videos on the way, everything from smoked prime rib to smoked lobster, so stay tuned. Until next time, keep eating bacon.